Hey, welcome to the Explainer. Life today can feel complicated. Information is just everywhere. So today, we're going to build a mental toolkit. Just 5 powerful words to help us cut through all that noise and make sense of it all.
I mean, you know that feeling, right? Your phone's just constantly buzzing. The feeds never, ever end. It's this nonstop stream of news and opinions and notifications. It can be a lot. Seriously overwhelming. Kind of like you're lost in this massive blizzard of information.
Look, this isn't some boring vocabulary test. Not at all. Think of these 5 words more like a set of keys, right? Each one unlocks a different door, helping you see the world just a little more clearly, to think with more purpose. So, you ready? Let's get into it.
All right, so part 1. Our story really kicks off with a feeling that I think we all recognize, especially in our super tech-heavy lives. It really describes the air we breathe these days.
Okay, so our first word is ubiquitous. And yeah, that's pronounced ubiquitous. All it means is that something is just everywhere. It's present, it's all around you, totally widespread. And smartphones are the perfect example of this, right? I mean, think about it. 20 years ago, a smartphone was a pretty rare thing to see. Now, they are completely ubiquitous. Everybody's got one in their pocket. That's what the word captures. That shift from something being new and different to just being an inescapable part of life. So that's the word ubiquitous. And it perfectly describes the world we live in now, doesn't it? A world of constant connection, endless feeds, and information that is basically everywhere all at once. So the big question is, how do our brains even begin to deal with all that? And this is where things get really interesting. This is where the conflict really starts. Because what happens when our very human, kind of old-school brains, which were definitely not built for this, try to keep up with this ubiquitous digital world? Well, that brings us to word number 2, ephemeral. That's ephemeral. It just means something that lasts for a really, really short time. It's fleeting, it's brief, and you know what? It perfectly describes one of the biggest challenges we're all up against.
Just think about a beautiful sunset. It's incredible, but it's also super brief, right? You can't just pause it or hold on to it. It's gone in a flash. That is the essence of ephemeral. And that exact same quality now defines how we interact with most information. And right here, this is the core problem. You've got the digital world on one side. It's ubiquitous, it's everywhere, it's infinite, it's always on. And then on the other side, you've got our attention span, which is totally ephemeral. It's brief, it's short-lived. And that clash, that mismatch, that's where all the trouble really starts. But it gets even trickier. It leads to a really important question. See, the problem isn't just that information is fleeting and flying past us super fast. What if some of it is intentionally designed to be confusing? And that brings us to our next word. It's a verb this time, obfuscate, pronounced O-B-F-U-S-C-A-T. And it means exactly that, to deliberately make something unclear, to muddy the waters, to blur the facts and hide the truth. Come on, we've all been there, haven't we? You buy some flat pack furniture, you open the instructions, and they just make no sense. They take what should be a simple process and totally obfuscate it, right? It's frustrating. Well, the exact same thing happens with information online, except the stakes are way, way higher. Okay, so let's put the pieces together. We have an endless, ubiquitous stream of information. We have our own ephemeral, fleeting attention spans. And now we have people actively trying to obfuscate the truth. That is a recipe for a serious problem. So what are the consequences? This leads us to our next really important word, pernicious. That's pernicious. This describes a very specific kind of harm. It's the kind that's damaging, but it happens slowly, subtly, so subtly you might not even notice it. It's the kind of danger that just creeps up on you. A great way to think about it is smoking. The damage from just one cigarette is pretty much zero, right? But the pernicious effect, that slow, cumulative damage over many years, well, that's devastating.
And it's the exact same principle with the slow, creeping harm of bad information.
So here's how it works. This is the process. Step 1, you're constantly exposed to information that's both fleeting, ephemeral, and deliberately confusing, obfuscated. Step 2, over time, that starts to cause these tiny, subtle shifts in how you think and what you believe. And then, step 3, eventually, all those little shifts add up and can lead to some really harmful effects in the real world. That is the pernicious effect in action.
Okay, so that sounds pretty bleak, but here's the good news. We are not helpless in this, not at all. Now that we've named the problem, we can find the solution. There is an antidote. There's a skill we can actually build to fight back.
And that solution, that antidote, is our final word. Sagacious. Pronounced sagacious. Now, this isn't just about being book smart or knowing a bunch of trivia. To be sagacious means to be genuinely wise, to have and to show really good judgment, especially when things get complicated.
And this is such a great example because it shows sagacity in the real world. It's not just about knowing things. It's about applying that knowledge with good sense, with wisdom, to get a good outcome. It's that ability to cut through all the noise and make the wise call.
And this really lays out the choice we have every single day. On one side, you have obfuscation, which is all about creating confusion and blurring the lines. On the other side, you have sagacity. And that's our goal, to push back, to clarify, to understand, and to make good judgments for ourselves. All right, let's wrap this all up. These 5 words, they're not just for a spelling bee. They are your new toolkit, a practical set of tools to help you see the modern world with a whole lot more clarity.
So let's go through the toolkit one last time. First, you recognize the world is ubiquitous. It's jam-packed with information. But remember, your own attention is ephemeral. It's limited. So, with that in mind, you stay on the lookout for anyone trying to obfuscate or confuse things. Why? Because you know their influence can be pernicious, causing that slow, hidden harm. In your defense, really your superpower against all of this is to aim to be sagacious, to use your good judgment to see things as they really are.
And there you have it. We've mapped out the problem and we've handed you the tools to deal with it. So the only question that's left is for you to answer. Now that you have this toolkit, what are you going to be more sagacious about? Thanks so much for joining me.